and welcome to another episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And on this week's episode, I don't really know what we're going to talk about because I didn't look anything up and I have a lot of crap that went on this week. So I was like, well, maybe we could just do a catch up. And then I did kind of think earlier we could talk about since we both kind of, now that you are an assistant manager, we both kind of work in corporate jobs. We could talk about our favorite corporate lingo.
Oh, God. Okay, sure. Yeah.
So, Sarah, you've been having a lovely week just based on your messages earlier.
I've been having the worst time.
I do have to say, not to minimize your issues, I feel like it's been a terrible week for everyone. I don't know what's going on in the ether or what, but this week it felt like the longest week on record. And it was every time I had to interact with someone, I left the interaction kind of pissed off. And at the end of the day, yesterday, I had an interaction with another coworker who is the one that I don't want to say too much. So I need him to do something for me. And he's one of the only people that can do it. So when we were having our conversation, he was very much like, you have to do it this way. There's no other option. And I'm like, well, that's not true. So it was basically like and I messaged the other person that was on the call and I was like, I just have to be honest. I'm not super thrilled about the way that meeting went. And if there's any other person that I could work with to do that, that would be preferable, because it was just like all of the things that he was saying, it has to have this. I was like, no, but it actually doesn't. What I have on there is high level and basic enough that it matches the criteria that you have without being too detailed to then, if something changes in 6 months, have to go in and update the content anyways.
Right.
So it's like, his demeanor was very condescending and a little bit degrading. And that's what I said to the person that was on the call with us. And I was like, I don't want to work with him if that's how, and I'm not surprised that more of these items aren't available. So it was very rude and I was very annoyed. And I was like, there has to be another person that can do this. He can't be the only person at Boston Science, I will cut that out, at my work that can do this. And if he is, then that's a staffing issue. And can I be the other person that can do this? Because it doesn't seem like it's working out. So that was fun. And then I keep asking people to do things, and we're going to have to basically just do whatever we can with the ESL program because no one has done what I asked them to do. And it's just a pain in the neck all around this week.
Yeah, I get that.
How was your week? I know you can't say too much either because...
Yeah. I had to send out an email to my employees letting them know that their current time and attendance behavior is not acceptable, and that I have been extremely lenient out of courtessy.
Yeah.
But that I will not be doing that any longer because it's getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, which I will say, it seemed like, just from the little bit, it didn't seem like you were asking too much.
Yeah, I'm literally just asking people to do their jobs.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I've received a lot of pushback.
Yeah. I mean, that happens with everybody. It sucks, but it's like, this is what it is. If you can't adhere to it, you knew what it was and you know what it is now, especially now that I'm bringing it to your attention. This is what it is. And it has to be this way because that's the policy.
Yeah.
And if you can't adhere to the policy, then you might want to start looking for another position.
Because it's been the policy.
Yeah.
It's been the policy the whole time. But yeah, it's just, anyway, so I've had to do a lot of stuff. But the thing that I realized yesterday that I actually find the most upsetting about this whole situation is that part of my job is to call the clients, to reschedule them, get them rebooked, all that jazz, if the therapist calls in. The therapist doesn't have to call the clients
No.
ever, like unless I make them, right? But if I was to be sick and call in, I would still have to go to work because I would be the only person who was available to call all the clients to let them know that we were going to be closed that day because I was sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say I don't know what the like how the I mean I'm assuming because it's Texas, it's more it's more on the side of the employer than the employee most of the time, just based on stuff that I've read about Texas. So to me, it doesn't seem like there would be, if someone wanted to fight it or say something against it, it doesn't seem like there would be much of a leg that they would have to stand on legally.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's really with with Texas, it's more corporate and company based than it is independent employee.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It is not, it's not, I mean, granted, the whole US is like that as well,
Yeah.
but Texas in particular does have a problem with being a shoot first, ask questions later kind of mentality, I feel like.
Yeah. So I have a story to tell you about something that happened.
Oh yeah.
So last night, Ryan and I were going to sleep, and it was like we he got home pretty late, and we watched UK versus the World Drag Race UK versus the World because the new season of that just came out. And so we didn't go to bed until it was like 1:30 before we actually laid down, or before we actually like shut off the lights and went like started trying to go to sleep. Well, it was about 2 o'clock. I woke up for some reason, and I looked up, and it was just like this black specter was just standing at the foot of the bed, kind of off to the side. So the way that our bedroom's set up, it's our bed is against the wall, and our feet are towards the door, but they're not like at the door. And then there's a little, it's the bedroom that you were sleeping in. So it's the same way that it was set up when you were in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's like that little space that's right before the bathroom door. That's where it was standing, and I sleep on that side of the bed. And then I was like, okay. So I grabbed my phone, turned it on, looked at it for a little bit, and like there was nothing there. So I just like laid back down and back to sleep. And then about 20 minutes later, I woke up, and it was standing so close to me, and then it like, I can't remember how I said it to Ryan, but it like jolted towards my face, and I screamed.
Oh my God.
And I looked over, and Ryan was sitting up because he was coughing, but I didn't hear him coughing. I just looked up and saw this black specter, and it like came towards my face, and I screamed, and I grabbed my phone and I turned it on, and I looked over, and Ryan was sitting up, and I was like, what the hell is going on? But it was just like, well, that's interesting. And then like, for some reason after that, it felt like I was being watched for a good like hour and a half, 2 hours. So I didn't get to sleep until like 4 a.m.
Jesus Christ.
So that was fun.
Oh, okay, way to go. First paranormal experience.
I told Ryan that this morning, and he was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep in here anymore after that. What is happening?
What is I see? Okay. All right. I knew that you were going to tell me something supernatural related just by like the way that you said it. But I was picturing something so much more wholesome. I was picturing like Bobo's spirit came to visit you and like jumped on you or something like that. But no, now you're telling me all this creepy shit, and I gotta go to bed later.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, okay.
But that was fun. I mean,
that's mortifying.
I felt it like it didn't seem like I was in danger or anything afterwards. So it was just like, that happened. And then I was able to go to sleep, and I slept perfectly fine throughout the night. So
okay, well, my story is not going to be nearly as interesting. But my friend, my work bestie, and we had gone into, so at work, we have a special area where we keep both the IT equipment and the products that the estheticians need to perform facials. I don't know why this is set up the way it is, but it is. Anyway, so we call it the back bar closet. Okay.
Okay.
Because in the business that I'm in, facial, like any products that go towards the services are called back bar. Like they're called the back bar versus retail. So anyway, we are in the back bar closet. I am trying to take a picture of this IT equipment that is like 4 feet above my head because I'm incredibly short, as we've mentioned numerous times. It's probably not actually 4 feet above my head. It's probably closer to like two, but it feels like four. Anyway, so she's trying to help me like maneuver to get the best like angle for this picture because I have to send it to my IT guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're talking, we're chatting, we're making jokes. We're work besties for a reason. And we're talking about Alexander the Great being gay, which, like, everybody should know. This should be common knowledge by now because, like, man's literally murdered the doctor who failed to save his lover. Like, I mean, his lover was a man. Anywho, moving on. So we're making jokes. We're talking about Alexander the Great being gay. And I don't remember what she said. She said something really funny, right? She says something really funny and laughs. And she laughs so hard that she throws her head back. And when she throws her head back, she conks it on the corner of the cabinet shelves for the back bar stuff,
Wow.
giving herself a moderate concussion.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
I had to send her to the emergency room.
Oh, geez.
I literally had to send her to the emergency room because she started like getting really, really sick, not being able to like keep her eyes focused. Anyway, I'll be right back. My timer just went off.
Okay. So that kind of takes me to like your little story about how short you are. Brought up something that I wanted to tell you. So today I went and got my hair cut. Thank you for noticing. Rude. And so I went and got my hair cut, and the woman that was cutting my hair was very short. Like, I think she was maybe even shorter than you, if not the same height. She might have been the same height. But she started cutting my hair, and she was like, "Can you scoot back in the chair so I can get to the top of your head because you're a little tall?" So I had to like hunch down in the chair, like with my butt barely on the chair so that she could reach the top of my head. And I usually tell them to cut a line in on the part so that it's kind of like a sharp part.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I don't want to tell her that because she can barely reach the top of my head to cut it. So I don't want it to be a very unstraight line. So I was like, I'm just going to go with what I got because I'm lucky I got what I got. But it's strange to me that she didn't have either something that she could step on to make herself taller or a chair that goes lower. Like it was still not, I don't think it was at its lowest setting. So I don't know why she didn't just put it down lower.
Right.
But that happened today. So that was really funny. And then I went and got my car washed because it was dirty because it's been gross around here. And then I just looked, and we are in a winter storm watch on Tuesday because Tuesday we're supposed to get some snow. And when I looked, it says like 6 to 12 inches of snow.
Oh my God. Okay.
Which is the first snowfall that we've like substantial snowfall that we've gotten all season. If it happens, it could probably not even happen.
Maybe. Possibly.
And then I also had two tech things technically. So my dad, I think I talked about it last week, washed his phone in the washer.
Oh no.
So he had no phone, and he hasn't had a phone since I think it was like last Wednesday or something. So I was like, Elijah, my nephew who lives with him, said that he was going to, he was supposed to meet with one of his friends today or yesterday and see about a phone that his friend had. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me know if he needs anything from me, and then I can take a look at it and see what's going on. If it's something that I can just fix by calling AT&T and just letting them, like, having them fix it. Cause it, like, whenever I look on on my account, his line was suspended for some reason. I don't know why. And I guess there was something wrong. I don't know what phone they were trying to, like, his friend was trying to give him, but Dad's SIM card apparently didn't work for it.
Oh, no.
So I was like, do you want me just to buy a new phone? I can just buy you a new phone and then like either send it to you or have you go to Best Buy and pick it up or something. So he was like, he doesn't really want you to, but yeah, because he would have to wait until he gets his tax check in order to get a new phone. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I just called, or I didn't call, I ordered it from Best Buy. But for some reason, the way that you use Apple Pay, the way that you check out, if you check out like using the Apple Pay option, it doesn't give you a chance to change who the pickup person is. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just change it whenever it actually finishes. It wouldn't let me change it. So I called their customer service and they were like, oh, you have to wait until it's ready for pickup and then you can change it. I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. So I was like, okay. I waited until I got the message saying it was ready for pickup. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went in there and I tried to change it and it was like, it wasn't letting me change it. So I called them back and the guy was like, oh, you can't change it now. If it's ready for pickup, that's just the way it is. Like, we can't change it. You can change it. I was like, you're telling me no one at Best Buy can change this? He's like, no. I was like, that's not a good answer. And I don't believe it. So I ended up just canceling it and then buying it again and doing the other option where you'd like check out instead of use Apple Pay, because there's like an option that says checkout or pay with Apple Pay. And if you select pay with Apple Pay, it screws it up and it's not very user friendly. So I had to do that one where then I had to put in my credit card information and all that jazz. But it was a pain. So, but he did get it and he has a phone now. So that's good.
Yay.
But from just under 1,000 miles away, I got my dad a new phone.
Brilliant.
And then I was at work, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. And one of the managers was like, James, I have a question. And you typically have an answer for me whenever I ask. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. He goes, is there an app or a way that you can just like talk into a microphone and it will like write down what you're saying in one of the Microsoft 360 like Microsoft applitions? I was like, well, in Word, there's a dictate option where you can click on it and speak and it will put in Word what you're saying. He was like, are you serious? Where is it? I was like, well, I've never used it, but pretty sure it's just at the ribbon at the top and you click on, it's like a little microphone you click on and it just does it. And he goes, well, that's good. And he found it and he was like, that's awesome. And he tried to use it and he was like, it works really well. So he was like, the reason I wanted it is because sometimes it's easier for me to talk in there than it is for me to type. Like, it's faster because I can be doing something like actually working and then talking at the same time and have it type what I'm saying. And I was like, I mean, you could, yeah. So he was like, that's great. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Oh, one other thing. And then I'm done. I drove to work pretty much every day this week. No, I didn't go Monday or Friday. But Tuesday, I was like, Tuesday or Wednesday, I was trying to decide if I wanted to charge while I was at work. And I was like, no, that's fine. I think it should be okay. So I didn't charge Wednesday. And then when I left home on Friday or Thursday to go to work, I was at, I want to say it was like 42% battery left. And I got to the 93 turn off from 95 and my car was at 8% battery and I still had like 5 or 6 miles left to go. But when I got on 93, my car went into limp mode where it had like a little turtle signal on the screen and it wouldn't let me go over 65 miles per hour. I was like, this is bullshit. This is dangerous. This is stupid. And then for some reason, like just a little ways down the road, it stopped and it worked perfectly fine. Like it was letting me do whatever I wanted. It was very odd. But then when I got to work, I had 2% left. And then I plugged in and it charged all day. And I was there for like over 9 hours and got it up to almost 90%. So in 9 hours, it goes about 87%.
Okay. Good Lord.
So that was it was a crazy week. It's been an insane week. So I'm not going to lie. I was kind of excited when you said, yeah, we can just do an after dark session tomorrow.
There you go. Well, yes, because I did not want to get up. It's so funny because I ended up getting up early anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to get up early, but I had just worked on schoolwork.
That's good.
Yeah, I gotta. I'm so behind, but I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I gotta schedule my test because I gotta take a test before Valentine's Day, so I gotta do
You have,
that too.
you have to schedule it.
Yes, because it has to be proctored.
So what do they do? Just like watch you through, or do you have to go on site?
No, luckily I can have it proctored from here. Hey, quit that. Sorry, talking to
Sorry,
Bobby.
I will. Jeez.
Not you, Bobby. Anyway, that's so weird, my guy. Why would you do that? Anyway, so what you have to do is you sign up for an appointment and basically you're on a Zoom type thing. And they have a setup that you go through to do the actual test where they can lock your browser. So
That's weird.
they get access to your computer
Yeah.
while also watching you take the test. So they can see your screen and everything, and then they have software that they can use to lock the browser if they catch you cheating.
I don't understand tests. Like, to me, they're irrelevant now. Like, in the modern age of technology, why do you have to have someone take a test? It's like anything that someone needs to know, they can look up for themselves. And
Because
I can know the information in like 5 minutes.
yeah, but the problem is not everybody has the same access, first of all. But secondly, not everybody has the ability to distinguish real from fake.
See, but that's why I think there should be more of a focus on distinguishing what is actual factual information and what is incorrect, inaccurate, unreliable information.
No, and like I agree, but what I'm saying is like tests cannot be gotten rid of yet because of that reason is like you can't trust people at this moment to know whether or not the information that they're looking up is correct and factual and actually what they need to be doing.
I disagree because that's what like assignments and like presentations do. Like they do the same thing. You're presenting the information in the way, like a way that you're showing that you understood and you researched the information that you were supposed to look for. A test, you're basically just reiterating what somebody told you or what you read in a book.
You're reiterating the information that you've learned.
And to me, it's more effective to do that by demonstrating it in your own voice than it is by taking a proctored exam where there's a right and a wrong answer. That's just me. I've never agreed with tests. I don't test very well, and that's probably part of the reason. I also have a hard time with. I don't know. I might have ADHD, but I have a hard time with focusing when I'm supposed to be reading something and then like actually committing that information to memory. But that being said, I do have almost. It's not quite a photographic memory, but like I can visualize where something is on a page. And like whenever I read it, or like if
I
I've
can
seen
visualize like that as well.
yeah, to me, I've never understood why testing is such a massive focus in academic years, and it's not more geared towards present the information and publish it in a way that shows that you understood, and then expand upon what your ideas are around it.
I while you were talking about that, I was looking up
While you were rambling on, go ahead. You can say that, Sarah.
no, because I was looking up information related to what we were talking about. I was looking up to see if there's like some important like I'm very pro learning cursive, for example.
Okay, yeah.
One of the reasons that I'm pro learning cursive is because there have been studies that show that it is important to brain development. And that having that ability, being able to write and read in cursive, helps with the plasticity of the brain. Okay. So I was looking up to see if maybe there might be some reason like that. as to why we do testing. But it looks like the 5 main reasons for taking tests is to be able to show the student's strengths in a subject, and to show their potential weaknesses in a subject.
And if that's the way that the tests or assessments, I don't like to call things tests, I like to call them assessments technically. If that's the way that they were used, then I would agree. But it's not the way that they're used, because when I look at that and I see, well, we're measuring someone's strengths and weaknesses and potential areas of improvement. I also don't like to call them weaknesses. Areas for improvement. Then it should be like, okay, so here's the lesson plan for this person, and like tailor that information to how you can kind of build upon and give, like, feed into that development of that like area of improvement. That's not what they're used for. They're used basically for pass or fail. So if you fail it, then you fail it. You're just screwed. Like if you pass it, then you're fine, whatever. You were able to memorize and reiterate what was covered in the slides or the reading. And to me, there's other more effective ways of verifying knowledge retention. And tests they're not the most effective way to do that for everyone. They might be an effective way for some people, but for most people, it's the application of the information in that presentation and documentation, like writing an essay about and expanding upon the topic. That's just me.
Teach their own.
Yeah. And I mean, I do have a master's degree in instructional design and technology. But I'm also thinking of it from like a theoretical standpoint where everyone learns differently. So having it to where everyone is going through this standardized testing. And to me, a test is just a lazy way to measure learning effectiveness, because like you can lie, or not lie, but you can cheat your way through a test. And it's not showing that you actually learned the material. And a lot of times, depending on the questions on the assessment, there's a way to like use common sense to answer the questions correctly.
I think that I agree that there are a lot of things that are wrong with testing. I'm trying to like get the words to like coalesce correctly in my head. Yeah. I do believe that, current testing, especially standardized testing, if we want to talk about that, that's absolutely awful, and it's extremely detrimental to the learning process. And studies have shown that as well, but here we are. Anyway, but the thing is that I think that I wish my brain would work. What am I trying to say right now? I'm trying to say that I do agree with you in that I feel like there are better ways that we could go about doing testing than, or like including up to and including getting rid of testing altogether. But I think the other thing that you have to look at is the ways that we're tested, because like it goes back to, I think that if it was more of an assessment type situation, that it would be beneficial to have them on occasion to keep track of that progress, so on and so forth. But I think the other thing that we have to realize too is that right now it's exactly what you were saying, is it's just memorization. It has nothing to do with how you're learning.
It's basically, to me, the way tests work in a school is how well can you mime the information that was presented.
Yeah. And
it's not, did you understand it? It's, can you answer these questions about the context of the information that was covered throughout the week or whatever, the term. And to me, I don't think that for most people, and I will say for most people, I don't think that is a good way to judge whether the content was presented in a way that is going to have a like lasting effect. And I do agree And I think it's going to be interesting to see how artificial intelligence can kind of help with that portion of it, where you can use the assessments that you give students to then have the artificial intelligence kind of focus more on what those weak points are or those areas of improvement are, and like adjust their learning plan to match what they need to develop on.
Right.
And focus less on things that they're strong on while still covering those, but having less of an emphasis on the items that they don't struggle with or they have a less of an issue with. So to me, and that's one way of ethically using artificial intelligence to help develop a learning plan or lesson plan that is designed to adapt to the learner and not the content.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
I mean, I don't think AI is there yet, but
I mean, I don't think AI is there yet either. But things may be different here in the near future. You never know.
Yeah, and I also understand that teachers are given what they're given, and they have to go by a strict lesson plan. So I don't think it's the teacher's fault either. It's more the education system's fault than anything.
And I would agree with that.
And the United States education system is not the best. I mean, I didn't get to walk with our graduating class. Well, my graduating class, because you weren't in the same graduating class. But I didn't get to walk with my graduating class because I missed a few assignments because I was out sick and couldn't get them done. So I had to do school through summer. And I literally went in there and she was like, "This is all you have to do is write this paper and then you're done." And I was literally there for one day. And she was like, "I'm going to have you come back again tomorrow and just like, I'll give you some feedback on your paper. But after that, you're done." So I was there for 2 days.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to go to my graduation anyway, because I didn't really care for too many people there. But,
also fair. What a ride, huh?
Yeah.
What a ride.
What a fun conversation. I got to use my master's degree for something just then. I do use it at work too, quite a lot.
I don't get to use my degree ever.
Well, I mean, you got it in library science and you work at a massage parlor.
That is correct.
That's not what it's called. What is it? A spa? Is it a spa?
Yeah, it's a spa. Why can I not download my own? Okay, weird. There we go. Found it. Sorry, having some technical issues. I was just remembering I need to submit this assignment. So while we were chit-chatting, I am multitasking. I wrote a paper on The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin and The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. I wrote a comparative essay on them.
Well, that sounds boring.
It was. Basically, I just kept reiterating how everything in both of those stories was about the infantilization of women and the.
Is that the word?
That's probably not how it's pronounced, but that is the word.
Okay.
Infantilizing people.
There you go. Yeah, I like that word better. I don't know. For some reason, I don't like infantilization. I
don't like it either. But anywho, so that and the infantilizing of women and its effects on like women's health care and their bodies and things like that.
So infantilization is the prolonged treatment of one who is not a child as though they are a child.
Correct.
Oh, infant. Okay, got it. That's not what I was even remotely thinking about. Infantilization. So basically demeaning in a way.
Yeah.
Talking down to.
But like, for example,
what I went through on Friday.
No.
You don't know, you weren't there. You can't invalidate my feelings, Sarah.
That's true. I wasn't there. But it's a very specific thing. So it's like, for example, how fully grown men are referred to as men, but fully grown women are still referred to as girls, for example. Or how women weren't taught how to read because they weren't going to need to read because they were just going to be mothers. And that doesn't require any learning. That doesn't require any like growing up, that kind of thing. It historically speaking, women have always been treated like children. They're not smart enough. They're not strong enough. They're not this enough, whatever. So men have to come in and men have to be the adults and take care of them and blah, blah, blah.
I think if you think of it in that context, then I mean, it should be like maybe female infantilization. There should be another word in front of it, but the term infantilization, just based on what I just read, it's not specific to a gender. It's talking down to
Of course,
anyone
the
as though they were a
dictionary,
child.
and that's the reason that I specifically stated the infantilizing of women,
Yeah. And what
the
I was saying,
infantilization of women.
but the way you were saying it was like you were saying the what I was going through yesterday wasn't the same thing. And I agree it's not the same thing as infantilization of women.
But it's not the same thing as far as infantilization goes. You were demeaned, yes, but like being demeaned doesn't necessarily mean being treated like a child. You can demean somebody without treating them like a child. You can talk down to somebody without treating them like a child.
No. I agree to disagree. with the context of the conversation again.
But again, the context of the conversation was actually what I was writing my paper about, which was the infantilization of women, which I specified.
Well, I was talking about the context of the conversation that I was going through yesterday. I was relating to the topic that you were bringing forth, Sarah, in a way that I thought would be a good conversation, and then you invalidated my feelings.
Because it felt extremely invalidating hearing like my experience of your experience on Friday is not the same experience as what millions of women have experienced over the last centuries, which is what I was talking about.
And I don't think I was saying that. Like, it may have come across that way, but I was trying to put myself in kind of understanding the situation based on something that I had gone through, which I know I will never be able to understand female infantilization of women. Hold on. I can see your face. I see you getting ready to jump in and tell me I'm wrong again.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
But never mind. Moving on.
No, like absolutely finish what you were saying.
No, I'm just saying I felt like yesterday I was being talked down to, like I was being explained to as though you would explain something to a child in the way that the person that I was dealing with was talking to me. So that, to me, in the context of the definition of infantilization, was the same thing. I was being treated like an infant.
Okay. And I can understand that. And I am sorry that I invalidated your feelings because that was absolutely not what I was trying to do. It's just that even though you were trying to relate, that was not the moment, friend.
I know, yeah. I get it. And I see where that's coming from. Yeah.
Because that felt like I've been through that too. And it was just like,
yeah. No, I do see where you're coming from, because it's kind of like that.
The empathy and where the direction you were trying to go in, because I know you and I know that that's what you were trying to do. But in the context of the conversation, that is not how it came across at all.
Yeah. It's kind of like that one situation where you see like someone saying, "Oh, I went through this massive trauma," and then like someone else is like, "Oh, I can relate to that because here's what happened to me," trying to like one up it. And it's like, I could see how that's the way it came across, and that's not what the intention was.
Yeah. And like, obviously I know that that was not the intent. But that's why I was trying to explain to you, like, that's no. No.
Oh. Sarah cancels James this week. Jesus.
You're like, wait. No, I'm just, anyway, it I was already frustrated with everything else going on with work. So that was an interesting paper to write while I was already mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least it kind of fueled your argument for the discussion about the infantilization of women.
True. I just, it happens to me at work too. And like, and it's not, the problem is that often it's not even because the guy's trying to be a jackass. A lot of the times it's dads
Yeah.
just wanting to keep their daughters little for longer. And like, I get that. And like, for example, one of my coworkers, one of my employees, he's older than me. He's getting ready to turn 50. Okay. He has two daughters.
So barely older than you.
Yeah, barely older than me. Only 15 years. Anyway, he has two daughters who are like only a little bit younger than me. So he treats me in much the same way that he would treat them. He treats me like one of his kids.
No.
Which is endearing,
Is
but
it?
also, on a level.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, it's endearing because it means to me, anyway, that, he cares about me. He views me as somebody that he cares about. Because why would you treat somebody like your kid if you didn't care about them?
No.
Like, unless you were doing it, to infantilize, obviously. But, like, an intentional infantilization. But the problem is that I'm not his child.
Yeah.
I'm his boss.
Which makes it worse when you're like in a supervisory position and someone's talking to you like that.
And it's just
it's like it's them trying to invalidate your position.
Right. And like, I know that that's not his intention, and that's not what he's doing. I know that, but it's still not okay.
If it were seen from, I think the way that like he should look at it when he's having that context or that conversation is, if it were seen from an outside person, what would this look like to that person?
Right.
And it would look like he is not respecting your position.
Right.
Which is rude.
That he's treating me like a child.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he is, but, again, it's one of those things. It's that thing. It's not even necessarily coming from a place of malice.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that happens. It's a thing that we as a society have ingrained, And it just makes things difficult. But anywho.
Well, moving on to another topic that's kind of in the same vein, not of that, but of the way that I misinterpreted what the word infantilization was, because of the way that it sounds like it's so close to the another word like fantasizing or it's so close to, no, it was fantasizing, but like for some reason my brain auto-tuned link or infantilization to fantasizing. I don't know how, but moving on. Have you seen this TikTok about this performer? I don't even know what her name was, but it was during an interview. The interviewer said something about, "Oh, you're a musician." And she goes, "I don't know why you keep using that term. I'm not a musician. I'm a person that makes music," because she thought she was saying magician.
Oh, she misheard her and thought she was a magician.
And like, she wouldn't even let the interviewer talk and be like, "I think you're mishearing the word that I'm saying." And she kept saying, No, I'm not. I don't do magic. I don't do magic tricks. I write music. I'm an actress. I'm a producer. And she was like, "No, I think you're misunderstanding the word that I'm saying." And she just wouldn't let her talk. I don't know where it went from there because it cuts off, but it was like this woman or this person, I think she was a rapper maybe. She was basically telling this, going off on this interviewer because she misunderstood the word that the interviewer was saying.
No.
It's like, geez, that's not going to be good for you. But I mean, it could be. Who knows? Yeah. All press is good press, even if it's negative. All press is press, maybe not good press. And then the other thing that I saw recently was, gosh, I just lost it. Shoot. but it was really funny. Dang it.
Was it about Alexander the Great being gay?
No, because I didn't even know that.
How did you? What the?
I didn't do anything about Alexander the Great. I had nothing, like, no, I've never paid attention.
Not just that though, but do you not have an interest in learning about people who were gay?
I mean, I do, but not that far back. No.
You're like, I don't care about ancient history. Let those queers be queer, but like they don't pay me anything. They don't do anything for me.
Jeez, Sarah, there you go again. Getting me canceled. Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? Because it was a funny conversation.
Okay.
Miley Cyrus won her first Grammy.
Good for her. Them.
Two actually.
They're going by them now, aren't they?
I don't think so.
What are Miley Cyrus's pronouns?
She's gender fluid.
Right. I knew that, which is why I was like, okay, but
I think it's one of those where
she's fluid with her pronouns as well.
Did you know that Miley Cyrus identifies as non-binary? She, they didn't use that word, but she, they said she, they doesn't or don't feel like either. She, they didn't use that word, but she, they said she, they don't feel like either. I don't know.
They really could have just used they.
It's a Reddit post. Anyways, Miley Cyrus won their first Grammy. 2, technically, because it was for Song of the Year and Album of the Year, I think. But that wasn't what I was going to talk about. It was funny because I was watching that We've Had It podcast where these ladies talk about things that they're over and they've had. And they were talking about something that we've talked about in the past, those baby on board signs. And I said, if anything, it makes me want to run over your car even more. So they were talking about how they didn't like those either.
So it looks like she's never officially like come out about her gender, more that she has just alluded to it a lot.
No. Is it that they're gender fluid or pansexual?
I know that she's pansexual.
Yeah.
But
oh, are you seeing all of the conservatives freaking out about Taylor Swift?
No. Why are they freaking out about Taylor Swift now?
Well, I think it's the same thing. She's telling her fans to register to vote. And on one night after her concert, the area that she was performing in saw like 35,000 people register to vote that had never registered before.
Dang.
So they're afraid that people are she's going to make it more attractive. She's making it more likely that a Republican won't win the presidency next.
Oh, no.
Right. And then they were also like, everybody's saying how downplaying her and saying that she's drawing too much attention, and that's the only reason that the 49ers are in the Super Bowl this year.
You have to win games to get into the Super Bowl.
I mean, we're talking about conservatives. They're idiots.
True. Except the problem is that they're
idiot
stupid,
isn't the right term,
but
simple mind.
But they're not stupid in the technical sense. The people who are currently in government all have degrees. Yeah. They're all intelligent people who have gone to Ivy League schools.
I don't know if I'll go with all, because there's several that it's I don't even know how you graduated high school.
There's a few that I don't. Hold on. So does Donald Trump have a degree? I don't care about Donald Trump Jr.
I think he does.
He has a Bachelor of Science in Economics from the University of Pennsylvania.
From 1980 something.
1968.
Oh, Jesus. Even older than I thought.
University of Pennsylvania.
It's a pretty good school.
It is ranked number 6.
So yeah, it is a pretty good school, but that also you can buy your way through, especially back then.
Yeah, it's true. And his father was wealthy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
TBH, fuck Donald Trump. We don't want to talk about him during our
oh,
podcast.
I know what I was talking about. So I've been watching or listening to, because it's a podcast that I listen to on my way to work. It's called Do We Know Them? And it's Lily Marsden and Jesse Smiles. And like Lily Marsden is from like she got really big from Clever Style, which is a YouTube series or a YouTube channel that I was watching. And then Jesse Smiles is really big from Vine. And they have their own YouTube channels too, and they've done other stuff, but those are like their most notable things. But they talk about like people and things on the internet that happen that are interesting and that are like a little bit controversial. And one of the things they talked about is this guy named Keith Lee. Do you know who Keith Lee is?
I don't.
I don't know who he is either, and I had never heard of him until their podcast. He's apparently a former MMA fighter who has, I don't know if he does things on TikTok, and he goes around to like places to eat, and it's like they're usually struggling because they have bad marketing, or they don't get enough people, or there's a reason that they're struggling. So he goes and he tries the food to see, like, give them a review and like give them some clout, basically. Well, he went to this one place, and I don't remember what the name of it is. Sweetly Seasoned. It's a food truck, and it was in, I think, Dallas, Texas is where it is. And what he does is basically gives them clout, but then he also gives them money. And it's typically like, it will go like, he'll say, how much money would you have made or did you make tonight? And he'll match that. So he usually leaves like thousands of dollars, like tips people thousands of dollars. So what he did in this instance was the son of the woman that owns the food truck posted that he wanted him to come to his mom's food truck and try his mom's food because they're having issues. They just moved from, I think it was Arkansas or somewhere. And they still don't know their area. They still don't know the area. So they don't market very well. So they're still trying to figure out the area. So she's struggling. And it would really help her out. And then he also invited his friend to help them. And his friend, her brother, came to cut his hair because he didn't have time to do it while he was running around the day before that this Keith Lee guy was going to be there. So he came and cut his hair it just so happened to be while Keith Lee was there. He was out there cutting his hair, and then he was also like offering other people haircuts if they wanted it. Well, at the time, Keith Lee like tried the food, and he does this thing where he's incognito, where he will send like his family to go order the food. They'll bring it back to him and he'll try it and then review it and then go in there and let them know and like give them money. And when he walked up, he saw the guy was cutting the hair. The girl was the friend was at the cash register, like taking orders, and then the mom was cooking. So what he did was say, I'm going to give you, the guy that was cutting the hair, the barber, $1,000 to give people free haircuts for the rest of the day. And then I'm going to give you, the girl that was checking him out, another $1,000 because of how helpful she was and how good she did her job. And then give the business owner $2,000, or the cook. He didn't know she was the business owner. The cook, $2,000. And he's like, and do with it however, like distribute it however you see fit. I think, to me, that's the worst. That's where he got wrong. But then what happened is he paid with his credit card, and she just charged his credit card the $4,000. Well, the mom, or the person that owns it, basically said, or she wasn't, there was an issue with her giving the money to the girl and her brother. And like there was this whole TikTok drama and Instagram drama about her not giving the money, and everybody was like saying how bad she was about not giving her the money. And the girl was basically like, I don't want the $1,000. I don't care if I get that. You can keep mine, but my brother does need it. And it was insane. But if you guys want to listen to more about it, because they have like the TikTok videos and stuff, and Keith Lee submitted like a comment about what was happening, and he was basically like, I said do with it what you meant, but by that I mean if you want to pay them via Zelle or Apple Pay, or however you want to distribute the money to them, that's how you want to do it. I think he should have said that, and not the way that he said it was divvy up the money the way that you see fit. because that could be misconstrued as, well, they don't really need the money because they wouldn't have been there if they're they wouldn't have been there if they didn't just show up. So I don't
Right.
know. I think there's a little bit of an issue with the way that he stated it, but also I think there's a way that he could have done it differently. Where, and I understand he did say I can't carry that kind of cash around with me because I am with my family, so don't put my family in danger just carrying $4,000 around.
Right.
But and then he also said I couldn't like get their Apple Pay or whatever because I didn't have my phone and I wasn't going to get their phone numbers and give them my phone number to like pay them individually. So this is the fastest and easiest way to do it, using the POS. And I was like, I mean, there are other ways that you can do it. You don't
Yeah.
have to have phone numbers. You could always get
Cash App.
the email address.
Yeah. Like
But
just the username on Venmo or Cash App. Like,
yeah, it was interesting. And I was like, it sounds like he does it a lot. And there are some times when he runs into issues with it, but I think it's like, it seems like it's something that and there was a whole film crew. So it might be like he's doing a movie or a TV series about it too. So he needs to get it together if he's going to continue doing it. But also
right.
people need to stop being so greedy and just basically do what he says. Because to me, it sounded like the owner didn't actually want to give up the money.
Right. Because, like, I mean, that's a lot of money. $4,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah. But that's all I got. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Are you doing anything fun this weekend? Do you have to work?
I do have to work. I am. What are you doing? I am dog sitting Boris right now. And he's like half on the couch, half off at the moment. And looking at me like I did this to him. Come on. Here. Oh my God. This dog. What are you doing? What are you doing, friend? Anyway, so I'm watching him and working on schoolwork and working and dying slowly on the inside.
I have a lot going on next week. It's going to be a very, very busy week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy week at my work too. What are you doing this weekend?
Probably nothing. Or not much. Like Ryan even said tomorrow, he was like, do you just want to like go out and get somewhere, like get something to eat somewhere close, since we went to Provincetown last weekend.
Right, I remember that.
Which that was a lot of fun. It was a long drive and we took his car instead of my car because I didn't want to have to deal with the whole charging thing, because I would have had to charge there and then been really low when we got back home.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you were just going to take his car.
Yeah. And it was like he had to get gas because he was almost out of gas when we got home. So it was a long drive even for a gas car. So because it was like 100 and some miles just one way.
Dang.
Because it was like the very tip of Massachusetts, the little tip part. So other than that, I don't really know. I don't know where we're going to eat either. He keeps making me choose. And I'm like, you have autonomy as well. You can decide where we're going. But other than that, this week, there's a lot of work going into a project that I have at work that I'm leading that I have to do. So I'm like meeting with all the supervisors Wednesday and Thursday individually to go over the trainings assignments. And then Tuesday, I have a call about the Masters in Corporate Training and Communication program that I'm looking into doing. So I'm looking into getting a second master's degree, like a psychopath.
Might as well.
And then on Thursday, I have it's a podcasters meetup in Providence.
Yes.
Where I signed up for, there's a group in Providence. It's called Art RI, I believe is what it's called. And it's like they do writing. It's artistic stuff. And then there's also like a section of it that's for podcasters too. And there's a podcasters meetup on Thursday evening at 6. So I'm going to that. It's at a bar. And then I submitted I submitted the recording of one of our podcasts where we reviewed, what was it?
Saltburn.
Saltburn. Yes. Thank you. So I submitted that to the it's not really, I don't know what it is. Like you have to submit it and then they will review it and then you basically come and present it at this thing in March if you're selected.
Okay.
So I submitted that. And then on the 29th, which is a Thursday again,
Mm-hmm.
there's a podcasting 101 thing going on at 6:30.
Nice.
So I'm getting involved a little bit more in the podcasting scene and stuff around here.
That's really cool.
Just to try and develop and get our podcast out to more people.
Yeah, I should probably do some networking, but I'm a little tired right now.
Well, I'm a psychopath and I'm trying to be a little bit more active in the community and actually get out and do some more stuff. Because basically what I do aside from work is sit at home and watch YouTube.
Fair. I mostly sit at home as well.
No.
Like eh, that's partially though. I don't have any money or time or energy, so I just stay home.
Yeah. I mean, I understand on the money side and the time and the energy, although I have time technically. I am finding myself going into work earlier and staying later now that I don't have reason to have to come all the way home to take Bobo out. So like Thursday I didn't leave until like 5:30, but I typically leave like 4:00.
Oh dang.
So I'm staying at work later, going in a lot earlier, but I'm also trying, because it's the winter time and it uses more battery. I'm trying to let my car charge more at work because there's nowhere to charge it here other than taking it to the hotel that's down the road.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
And now that we have 8 chargers, although one of them's still broken, it's been broken for 2 months now, which is incredibly frustrating. I'm like, can I work for you? Can I just call the company and then have them like help me troubleshoot it here? Can I do that? And I work closely with the manager, the facilities manager. So she might just let me, because I mean, it's like,
there you go.
Just let me do it. And I did meet with her and I have on Thursday. Shit, I have a lot going on Thursday. I just realized how much I have going on Thursday. Let me look at my schedule real quick. Hold on. My work schedule. Because I have a lot going on, work and personal.
Oh my God, my calendar. Ugh.
Let's see. So on my schedule this week, we have new hire orientation, obviously, Monday and Tuesday. I have that call on Tuesday at noon. And then I have 11:30 that's free on Wednesday. I'm booked from 9 a.m. to 11:30. And then 11:30 to 12, I have nothing scheduled. And then I'm booked again until 2:30, 2:45, it looks like, actually. And then again at 3 to 3:30, and then 4 to 4:30. And Tuesday morning, I have a meeting at 5:30 a.m. with the third shift supervisor. And then on Thursday, I'm in meetings all day until from 9 a.m. until 11:30. And then I have a training session that I scheduled myself for at noon, a Quincy Pride chapter meeting. So our ERG meets at 1. And then I have, what is this? Oh, an audit closing meeting. I have 1/2 hour open right after that. So from 2 to 2:30, I have a half an hour open. And then from 3 to 3:30, I have a half an hour open and then 4:00, I'm finished. Ugh, Jesus. And then Friday, there's a lot, or there's not as much, but there's still quite a bit. My week looks insane.
Friday is going to be my only day off. And
the end of this podcast is just us going through our schedule. Wow.
Right.
I'm sure this is thrilling to people listening.
Probably. Tomorrow I work all day, all by myself.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it can't be by yourself. You have to have therapists and people there.
Yeah, but I'm the only
front end
person.
No.
And then Saturday, I have a memorial to go to, because one of the celebration of life. Someone I met at the Canary Roost when I first started going to karaoke, passed away. And so we're going to be celebrating his life on next Saturday. And then next Sunday, Nick and I are going to a Valentine's themed haunted house attraction.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm very excited about that.
Oh, Friday is Kristen's birthday.
Oh, happy early birthday, Kristen.
Yeah, she doesn't listen to this, but
Whatever. You can tell her that we shouted her out.
yeah. And she'll have received this by now, but I sent her a thing for her birthday. Did you just hurt yourself?
I didn't hurt myself, but something popped that did not feel good.
That's fun. Well, you ready to call it a podcast? On that, are you ready to call it a podcast so you can tend to your issues?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. If you like this episode, please give us a like, a comment, and don't forget to follow or subscribe. You can leave us a review in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, as this will help get us out to more people and help us grow. Feel free to follow us on our social medias. We are at Now About That Pod everywhere. So if you search for us and we're not there, that means we're not on that platform. If there's something specific you would like us to discuss on the podcast, you can email us at nowaboutthatpod@gmail.com. Visit our website, www.nowaboutthatproductions.com, or you can call and leave us a voicemail or send us a text message to 765-557-4170. Thanks again for listening, and we hope you have a great week since this will be coming out on Monday. And Sarah, enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.